This is the Coach's Wife Life podcast. I'm Kristen Eargle, your host, a former TV sports reporter and fellow college football coach's wife. I'll go one-on-one with the strong women who are the backbone of college athletics and athletics of all levels. And now, Coach's Wife Life.
This podcast is brought to you by Ruler of Hope. Ruler of Hope is a nonprofit that supports medically fragile children. If you'd like to make a tax-deductible donation, you can use Venmo at Ruler-Hope or online at rulerofhope.org.
Hey there, I'm Kristen Eargle, and we have an exciting podcast ahead. But first, I want to talk about something we all know way too much about: moving. Just the thought of that can bring an unsettling emotion. Well, I found a team that can take that load off your plate. It's D1 Relocation. This group can do it all. They can organize your move, coordinate with a moving company, and a trusted real estate agent. They can actually vet key household partners such as schools, insurance agents, physicians in the area. They can even help set up your Wi-Fi and water. It's incredible. So I've come to know this team, which is actually founded by a coach's wife. I think you should check it out. Whether you're looking to move now or in the future, it's d1relocation.com. Now on to our awesome podcast. I am so thrilled to have my next guest on the podcast, Ashley Coen, the wife of Liam Coen. So glad to have you a part of us today.
Hey, Kristen. Nice to meet you and see you, and thanks for having me.
This is going to be a ton of fun. I can't wait to hear all about your moves and where you've been. You've been on the college level, NFL right now. But before we get to all those fun details, describe yourself on game day in 3 words.
Oh, gosh. Excited, nervous, and proud.
Yes. Okay. What about your spouse? What's he like?
He's pretty calm. I usually give him like a quick little pep talk when I see him on the field and a text. But I would say he's calm. He's ready.
He's
ready.
Okay. So your stops have been really, really cool. You've, for him, and you can tell me later on when you guys met, but he's been at Rhode Island, Brown, Massachusetts. You've done OC at Kentucky, and a combined 4 years with the Rams, and this past season, Tampa Bay offensive coordinator. Wow, very broad. He's worked his way up.
Yes.
What do you think about his history and where he is today? Why do you think his formula works?
Well, it started off with him drawing plays at like 2 years old. I actually have the spiral notepad. His dad, he's 3rd generation coach. His grandfather was the captain and played at BC. He coached, his dad coached college and him in high school. And so I think it's just in his blood. He doesn't know anything else, which I joke about, but it pays off. He was a quarterback in college at UMass. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame as the quarterback last year, which was really cool. He lives, sleeps, eats, breathes football. And so, he's worked his way up. He was the quarterback's coach at Brown, was his first job. And it was still when they had to like edit the tape, and he was just like in there working 80-hour weeks, basically for free.
Yes.
And I mean, he still works 80-hour weeks, but nothing's really changed.
Not at all. It's so funny. Okay, so did you grow up in a coaching family? Were you exposed to all of this as well?
I was a theater kid. I was a dancer, theater. I liked sports. I liked football. I really got into football in college when the Colts when Peyton Manning was with the Colts, and I really started to pay attention. And my dad's from Indiana. So I watched football growing up, but I didn't really get into it until end of high school, because we had season tickets to formerly known as the Redskins, because I went to high school in Northern Virginia. So I would go to games and it was fun, but I wasn't it wasn't everything.
Right.
So it was funny. One of our first dates, Liam was questioning me, like if I knew what a first down was, or like, it was so silly. And I was like, come on, man. Like, yes, I know those things. Like, you don't have to mansplain me what football is. But I think it was like his way of knowing if I actually knew football or not, but I passed. I got all the answers right. But yeah, it was pretty funny.
Okay, tell me about yourself. Where did you grow up? Obviously, you didn't anticipate the specific life that you're living right now. Where did you go to college, and how did you guys meet?
So I thought I was in LA for almost 12 years. I worked in advertising. I had my own company for 3 years. I was essentially, it's hard to explain what I did, but I was like an agent, but instead of individual directors, I represented production companies that shot and edited and did commercials. So I was on that business side of things. It was super fun. I learned a lot. I got to be on set. I got to be behind the scenes. I got to work out the deals. So I thought that was my life. I thought I was going to live in LA forever. And then I met Liam when he was at the Rams. We met on a dating app.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, because how else do you meet people?
Right.
We were both so busy with work. And I remember he tried to get me to go to a game before I met him. And I was like, okay, no, I'm not going to go to a game. I haven't met you. But we went on a date that lasted 36 hours. And we've been with each other ever since.
A 36-hour date? Wow. So it went really well.
Yeah.
Where did you go? Where did you go to dinner?
So we talked for almost a month, back and forth. Our schedules just didn't align. And then he picked me up on New Year's Eve and we had dinner, and he took me to a party with some of his friends. And so I met his friends. I met Mia, who was recently on the podcast. She was the first coach's wife I've ever met. I met her on New Year's Eve with Zach. And we just kind of like threw our lives together, and the rest is history.
How fun.
Yeah. When you just know,
Absolutely. Okay. And then you went back to college, right? At Kentucky?
Yeah. So he had an opportunity to be the offensive coordinator. I didn't really understand what like SEC was, because I was a theater girl. I was into college sports, but I wasn't like, my dream wasn't to go to SEC school. And I loved the pageantry of college. I mean, I get goosebumps just thinking about how amazing that was to experience going to UK. We love Lexington. We love the people. We love the fans, and just everything about that was incredible. And then Sean McVay had Liam come back to the Rams, and we couldn't say no. I mean, it was hard. I didn't want to leave the first time around at UK, because I was like, I finally feel like I'm having my footing. Our first son was born there. So we went back to California, and it was a really hard year. I mean, I think they had like 13 different O-lines starting O-lines that year. I mean, maybe more. Injuries after injuries. It was just a really hard season. I mean, they just won the Super Bowl, and playing your heart out, like, people are going to be injured. That's the name of the game, right? So UK was like, please come back. So we went back, and I had an even better time. And because I felt like I finally found like my group of women and mom friends, and Jackson went to a preschool. It was amazing. And then of course we had a good year again, and there were so many different options, and I was like, no, we're not going there. We're not moving. This is not happening. We can't do this. And we said no to a lot of things because we were happy. And then Tampa Bay opened up, and I know Liam's relationship with Bake, and that's when I was like, okay, like, it's time to go again.
Okay, so think about the differences in coaching college and the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
From your perspective, what do you think the biggest differences are? Is it harder to get connected in the community when it's NFL because they're bigger cities, or what are some of the things that maybe we wouldn't think about?
Gosh, that's a good question. The first few things that pop in mind are there's no recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't see the wives as much. You have to really make an effort to create that culture within each other because every season's different. Every season has a different staff. So I think I haven't been around for that long. This is my 5th or 6th season with Liam. So I got to experience college at the highest level where it was just an incredible experience. The wives were amazing. It's definitely Lexington is a smaller town. So we were all 15 minutes from each other. And then here in Tampa, I had I've always been in the Bible study. So I had the Bible study with the women here, and that was amazing. Like this past season, we all got really close. And I think that's kind of what you have to have. But in terms of like differences, it's really not that different. I think I get my husband a little bit more in NFL because when he comes home, he comes home. And in college, you know, the phone.
It's constant.
They're on the phone. You're just like,
they're just.
I'm like, gosh, like, well, how much do you have to convince an 18-year-old kid to like, it's just, you know, it's hard. And especially now with NIL and there needs to be changes, as we all know. It's like well, okay, I'll come to your school, but like, how much are you going to pay me? Like, some even kids, they even ask like, how many touches am I going to get? And I'm like, just get your scholarship and call it a day. Yeah, but I do love college because the recruiting was fun. I love meeting new people and hearing their stories and, being there for those kids. Cause you know, a lot of times they're young, they're kids, you know, you don't realize it, that they're away from their moms for the first time and their dads, and Liam's dealing with their school. They're dealing with their grades. They're dealing with girls. They're dealing with like
There's so much
learning how to be a responsible person. And at least in the NFL, like a lot of them are married and are starting families, and you don't have to worry about somebody showing up late. And,
right. They're going to be there, or they'll probably get fined, right? There's probably
the fine they'll get. Yeah. I mean, there's a million other guys who won his spot, and the diva, like they're just more mature.
So when you think about the overall scope of this, and you think the last 5 to 6 years, from the outside looking in, people think, hey, NFL, that's just got to be a cakewalk. That's going to be easy. And there's things to each season of your life that you're like, people don't know exactly what this is like. And sometimes we sugarcoat things, right? Because we have an image to keep up. But there is adversity that we face. What do you think's been the toughest adversity you've walked through? And what did you rely on to get through those moments?
We've been in a constant state of moving. We've moved every year, not even a year. And it's always been it's always for an opportunity, right? And I rely a lot on my faith. It's funny. I used to be like, oh gosh, these women that are like faith, family, and football. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it is faith, family, and football.
It is without question.
Like, no question. Like, without God and his guidance and our faith and listening to our gut and what we need to do and decisions we need to make, it's hard. I mean, look, I know my husband is at the top of his game. and I'm so proud of him. And he started from the bottom. And I think this is his 16th year in coaching. And so I think for people, they're like, oh man, he just like rose to the ranks like so quickly. And it's like, that's not what happened. I can see how it could look that way.
Right.
Because people have just been paying attention for the past couple of years. But what people read in the media, who's interviewing where and who's got, like, none of it is true. Like, it's almost funny that people have no idea.
Yes.
They have no idea.
Yes.
Like college too.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like with the cycle of people leaving, and it's a what have you done for me lately industry. And so people, for him, like leaving every year, and I know he faced criticism with that, and that was something that we had to work through. But people don't know us. People don't know him. People don't know the industry. You almost have to sometimes to take that next opportunity. And at the end of the day, it's like, we're here. This is for our family, and this is for what we think is best. But it's hard, right? Because your job this is entertainment at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. To other people, this is entertainment. To us, we do it to impact people positively, right? And to have a lasting impact on people. And if you're faith-based, obviously that would be a goal as well, is to be able to live in such a way that people want to know how you are grounded and how you remain steady in an industry that's up and down. And I mean, you mentioned your faith. Is that kind of how you navigate just the highs and lows?
Yeah. My faith with God I've always believed in God my whole life, but I think going to church, I was raised Catholic, and then I stopped going to Catholic church, and in my 20s, I didn't really go to church as much. But I would say starting in my 30s, I'm Christian, and I would just go to like a Christian non-denominational church because I love the music, and I just love the energy people have there. I don't think there's any other church that gives me that kind of feeling. And maybe it's just the music, because I do like singing and dancing and stuff. But we're going to face adversity. And I think with Liam and I, we're a partnership, and we value each other's opinion. And I joke with his agent, because his agent's like, man, I'm just involved with our conversations because I have to be. Like, this is not just his career, it's like our life. And I think it's also like the business side of me, because I used to work, and I had like an identity crisis when I stopped working. I felt like I had to prove who I was.
Yes. Same. I've done that.
Right? It's hard.
Oh, it's so hard.
It's so hard, because they're like, oh,
because you had a career before you had children, and then it's just this flip, and then nobody knows any piece of you, especially if you move to a new town. They had no idea what happened before that. That was hard for me.
I don't care anymore. I'm like,
yeah. Like,
I don't know. I just, you kind of have to ignore the noise if people do judge me. I mean, I haven't felt judgment, but like, I just, maybe it's because I don't care. Because you can't let other people's opinions on yourself or your husband or whatever you do. Like, I try not to let that bother me. But at the same time, my husband's had a lot of success, so people love him. So I haven't been on that other side yet. So I don't know. I really don't.
That's true. Yeah.
So, but people do say stuff, but we've been blessed where it hasn't been difficult.
How do you go about making those big career decisions? I mean, how do you look at it and go, okay, you mentioned moving a lot, but it was best for your family. How do you figure that out?
I mean, I think for anybody, you got to think about the opportunity. The pros and the cons, the organizations, the team, the players, the people, the coaches, the location, everything. It is like, I always say Liam plays chess on the field, but like figuring out what we're doing with our lives is like chess too. Like we have to, okay, well, this can happen. All right, but this is happening. But yeah, I think we just love football so much, and he loves football so much that we never know until we know.
Okay, so not every day. I mean, you haven't won all the games right now. You're doing really, really well, but there's days that you're like, oh, that was a close one. And how do you keep him encouraged when he's like, man, I thought that play call was going to work, or there's some noise from the outside. How do you keep him up?
We sit with that feeling of losing, I'm kind of just there for him. We talk about it, and it is what it is. I mean, sometimes he'll grovel about it for 24 hours, and then after 24 hours, it's on to the next game. Like he's been doing it long enough where, oh yeah, I mean, some games he beats himself harder than others when we lose, but you can't really let it bother you for too long. I think for me, like I have my support, like other coaches' wives that I cling to, and we support each other. But yeah, sometimes I'm more mad than he is. Like that last game, the last regular season game before this past playoff game, after we won, I just started crying. I put my hands in my head, and I was holding my son Jackson, and I was just crying. My friend took a photo of it because they were laughing at me. But it was like happy tears. It was just like, wow, so much has happened. So we had a baby. We were ahead of the division, and then behind the division, and then ahead of division. And Mia, her husband's the OC for the Falcons. How many people can say that your best friend's husband, who are also best friends, and how do we be supportive of each other? And so it was a really interesting season for her and I to navigate our relationship. And I'd like to pat ourselves on the back. We did so well handling it. It was a tough conversation to have. And because one of us is going to lose, right? One of us is going to have a better season than the other. But at the end of the day, like, that doesn't matter. I mean, yes, it matters for our husband's job, but like, we can't let our friendship and our connection with each other determine, like, our friendship determined from our husband's jobs. Yes, we met through football, but it's so much more than that. So finding those women make a big difference.
Did you just kind of state the obvious? Like, how did you work through that?
I'm going to be real with you, Mia. I'm going to be real with her. So she called me, and it was like after our second loss to the Falcons. And she was just like, we're just having our catch up. And she's like, hey, something's been weighing on my heart. Like like, we just need to talk about this. And I just started crying. I'm a crier, I guess.
Same over here. I'm a big crier.
I was like, I'm sorry I haven't been like supportive. And I was like, and I said, honestly, I was jealous.
Yeah.
I was jealous. You beat us twice. And it clearly that showed through maybe me not being like, oh my God, that was amazing. Zach did such a great job. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm like licking my wounds on the other side. And so after we had that conversation, not only did we level up in our friendship even more, it was such a freeing conversation that needed to be had. And I'm sure there's other women here like that are listening and have been through it. Like, what do you do when your best friend's husband loses his job, or one gets promoted and the other one doesn't. You know, it's a cutthroat business. Like,
Yeah, it is.
having these conversations with each other is so necessary, even when it's hard, because that's how you lose friendships. If our friendship wasn't as strong as it was, that conversation could have resulted in an ending, right? Like, it could have been really hard. But it made us stronger. So communicate with your coach's sisters.
That's so important. And I've learning that year by year. I remember I was a grad assistant's wife at Southern Miss, and this is like 20 years ago. And two of the people on our staff got let go. I remember going, what do I do? Like, because I'm close to both of them, but we're still here because we were a GA. We were tied to education system. And she said, always call. And even if the person doesn't really want to talk, or, now it's like text, but we had text, but it wasn't much as, even if the person's not in the space to like, I really can't talk because it's just too painful or whatever, just knowing that they care, that they're out there. It made a difference.
Yeah.
And maybe a year later they want to talk about it or whatever. Maybe it's 10 years later, but like, hey, you were there for me. Like it makes a big difference when you can do that. What do you think you're doing? You mentioned it. Everybody knows it. He's having tremendous success. Okay. Is there anything that Ashley is doing maybe that's helping to correlate some of the success on the field?
Oh my gosh. Obviously. No, just kidding. I am his soundboard. We're very real with each other. We're honest. He listens to me. He values my opinion. I help him prepare. We talk about things as a married couple, but also kind of like as a business standpoint. Because I'm not working, I have like a responsibility with his career to help him with questions. And I worked with him with like his interviewing skills, and because that stuff is exciting for me. But yeah, I think we have such a strong relationship and a solid marriage. And he loves coming home, and he's such a good dad. And, he's our world. And he has figured out how to, he was telling me the other day, he's like, this is the first year where I feel like I'm the most balanced when it comes to work life. And that's something that takes years, and we're going to continue having this.
When you think about a day in a life for you, you're a young mom, you have a 3 and a 6-month-old. What does that look like? And how do you take care of yourself through all this?
Oh man. Help. It takes a village. I learned quickly, because my husband is not around. And it's funny to kind of convince other people, like your husband's working on Christmas? Like, what? Like, oh, he works 7 days a week? Huh? Like, he doesn't have dinner. What? Like, I'm like, no, guys, but I don't know how wives do it without a village. Yeah, we just make it work. We've been so lucky to have amazing people in our lives, and our families are very involved. My mom's been here for almost a month. I don't want her to leave. Yeah, just family and incredible women who help me with my babies.
Do you work out? Do you walk?
Yes.
What's your thing?
So I started working out and doing strength training, lifting, a few months ago. I always feel like I'll go through like a hot yoga phase, or I'll go through, but I am now like lifting 3-4 days a week. And I just started up tennis again. That postpartum, like it's rough. Like it was pretty rough this year. Both of my kids were born in season. So
that's brutal.
Yeah, but it's actually it wasn't that bad because it's like, I mean, bless our husbands, but like how much can our husbands do with a newborn
Yeah,
the first few
true.
months, right? Like they're just attached to
That's a
you.
good perspective, though. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we kind of just had our thing. Like we I just keep myself, I'm able to exercise and keep my sanity in that way. Um, which I think was really important for me. Otherwise, I would go insane because I never see them.
Their seasons are so long.
So long. Oh yeah, I would say that's the biggest difference between college and
Yeah.
NFL is the games. Because how many games are in college? 11?
Well,
10?
before
12?
anything else.
12, yeah.
12 before bowls.
There's 17. Like that's 5 more. That's a whole month.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then your playoffs and okay, what do you say are some of the most rewarding aspects to you about being a coach's wife?
Gosh, I get to go to games. I get to go on the field. I have a football family. I think that's one thing that I don't take for granted. Are all the people that I've met so far, and it's interesting because it's like you move around. So right, you'll like I have good friends now on this team and that team, and so you're like rooting for other people and other teams. Unless when they're in the same division. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's a blessed life for sure. Now I know it's different high school, college, NFL. I mean, one of Liam's best friends, Josh, he's a head coach for a high school where they're from. And his wife, like, you don't get paid, right? Like, you really don't. I mean, you get a couple $1,000 and you literally just put it into the school, into the players. So being a high school coach's wife, like, gosh, like you're cooking meals, you're doing this, you're doing that, like, and you're having another job and you're being probably a teacher or whatever it is that you do. Like, it's all so rewarding. It's different, right? And like, but you love it. Like you have to love coaching.
Yeah.
If you don't love it, there's no reason why. Like you can't get out of it, right? What's the happiness in that? But I think by having a partner who understands your value and your worth as a wife is really important because you take on everything.
You really do. Okay, rapid fire. You ready?
Okay.
Okay. Who's the most famous person in your phone?
Tom Brady.
What? Tom Brady's in your phone?
Yeah, he's in my phone. I haven't met him. It's a funny story. But yeah, I have Tom Brady on my phone.
How did you acquire Tom Brady's number outside of your husband being the OC, the Bucks? But that's crazy. Yeah.
I mean,
Pretty
I've never
awesome.
communicated with him. It's actually a joke, but I do have his number. And yeah, I have some like random famous people because I lived in LA for so long, but
You did. I know.
yeah,
I could not wait till you to answer this question. So I was like, this ought to be good.
Yeah, my husband might be mad that I said that, but yeah,
It's
TB.
okay.
TB.
What's one item on your bucket list you've checked off and one yet to check off?
I went skydiving like 12 years ago. I'll never do it again.
That's what I hear.
One thing they don't tell you about skydiving is your ears feel like, when like you're on a plane and you feel like they're gonna pop. But imagine going like, I don't know how fast do you drop? A couple 100 miles an hour. It was like this ringing and like pressure in my ear. I thought I was gonna pass out. So never again.
No one ever explained it. This really helps me.
Yeah, because think about it. Like it was like it was like this high pitch, and then the guy was like, and I was screaming that my ears were burning, and the guy was like, blow your nose, and then it got better, but I wish they would have told me that initially so I could prepare. And my bucket list is I want to go on a safari.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah. I've always wanted to do that.
Specific place for that?
No, just somewhere in Africa. Somewhere
That'd be
beautiful.
awesome.
Yeah.
The last 3 people you have texted are?
I would normally say my husband, but he's here. So let's see. Emily Carberry, Mia Robinson, and I mean, there's like random. I'm like, who did I text last? Probably like my family text.
Yeah, the good group text. Okay, funniest account you follow on Instagram?
I like all the millennial geriatric mom stuff. Like, I like moms behaving badly. I don't know. Just I like too many. Like, I'm definitely the friend who sends memes. Like, I will send like 5 memes to a friend and before they even respond. But I wear that proudly, you know.
I do too. You can send them to me.
Okay, I will.
I really enjoy
I
the
love
funny
meme.
things.
Especially when
I
I'm like
know.
feeding my son, you know. I'm
Yeah.
like, there's only so much you can just like stare at your baby and you know, he's cute.
What about your life impresses your kids the most?
I mean, for my 3-year-old, like we really have fun like role playing. Like he's such a dude. Like he loves all boy stuff. But he's like in his transformer phase. So we're like transformer characters all day. Dinosaurs, books. And so I think we're praying. I think my 6-month-old, he's the little steak. He's the football guy because he loves balls and he just looks like a football player. Maybe because he's just like so fat and like he likes balls. So hopefully we have one football guy. I'm manifesting this into reality is our sons will be the first NFL GM head coach duo together.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah. That
would be good. I love it. What would be your walk-up song?
Oh gosh. Britney Spears. You Better Work.
There you go. Very fun. Oh my gosh, this has been amazing. Thank you, Ashley, so much for taking your time and sharing with us.
Thank you, Kristen.
This podcast is brought to you by Ruler of Hope. Ruler of Hope is a nonprofit that supports medically fragile children. If you'd like to make a tax-deductible donation, you can use Venmo at Ruler-Hope or online at rulerofhope.org.
For a replay of this episode or previous episodes, visit coacheswifelife.org and follow us on social media at Coaches Wife Life.